Hello, I'm Dr. James. I'm a physician with over 30 years of experience, specializing in men's health after 60. What I'm about to reveal today could be the difference between a peaceful old age and years of silent suffering from a problem that affects millions of men: an enlarged prostate. Many men believe that needing to urinate frequently at night, difficulty starting a stream, or feeling like your bladder is never quite empty are just normal parts of aging. But that's not true. These are clear signs that your prostate may be struggling. The most alarming fact is that this isn't solely due to aging. It's often caused by everyday habits that silently damage prostate health, habits you might not even notice. According to research published in the scientific journal Urology, over 50% of men aged 60 and above experience moderate to severe urinary symptoms, often linked to benign prostatic hyperplasia or BPH. These symptoms are directly connected to lifestyle choices, not just chronological aging. Throughout my career, I've treated hundreds of men with severe symptoms. Some faced complete urinary retention, while others endured constant discomfort. Yet, I've also seen men over 80 who live without the slightest inconvenience, simply because they changed their habits in time. The truth is simple. The difference between those who suffer and those who live well lies in the details of their daily routine. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you now: the 10 most dangerous habits for your prostate. The first one on this list is so common, you might be doing it right now, completely unaware of the harm it's causing. Number 10, sitting for hours. I understand that after 60, the sofa, armchair, or a chair on the porch can feel even more inviting. However, if you spend hours sitting motionless, know that this directly harms your prostate health. When a man stays in one position for a long time, especially sitting, there's constant compression of the pelvic area. This pressure reduces blood flow to the prostate, contributing to chronic inflammation and, over time, leading to gland enlargement. Prolonged sitting also weakens the pelvic floor muscles. This makes it difficult to completely empty the bladder, leading to a buildup of residual urine, which promotes irritation, infections, and further prostate enlargement. Men who spend their days watching TV, reading, or even working in a seated position for hours on end have a significantly higher risk of developing unpleasant urinary symptoms like a weak stream, urgent urges, and frequent nighttime urination. The good news is that the solution is simple. Every 30 minutes of sitting, stand up for 2 or 3 minutes. This could be to get a glass of water, stretch your legs, or walk a little around the house. This small gesture already improves circulation and reduces pressure on the prostate. A sedentary lifestyle is a silent enemy, and movement, even minimal, is a powerful weapon for maintaining prostate health. Number 9. Excessive red meat consumption. Red meat can be a true passion for many. A weekend barbecue, a pan-fried steak, or a sausage on the plate. But when consumed in excess, especially in older age, it can become one of the main factors contributing to prostate enlargement. Studies show that diets rich in red meat, especially processed meats like bacon, sausage, and cold cuts, are directly linked to increased levels of inflammation in the body. And where there's chronic inflammation, there's a risk of prostate growth. The issue isn't just the meat itself, but also the saturated fats and chemical additives used in processing. These substances affect hormonal production, particularly testosterone, and contribute to an imbalance that directly impacts the prostate. Furthermore, as men age, their digestive system tends to slow down. Red meat is harder to digest, causing bloating, weight gain, and additional pressure on the pelvic area. This doesn't mean you need to completely eliminate meat from your diet. Instead, aim to reduce its consumption to once or twice a week, prioritizing lean cuts and lighter cooking methods. In your daily life, swap it out for healthier protein sources like fish, eggs, grilled chicken breast, or even legumes. beans, lentils, and chickpeas. Beyond helping control prostate growth, you'll feel lighter, experience improved digestion, and have more energy. Remember, what you put on your plate directly impacts your prostate health, and an excess of meat, especially at the wrong age, can come at a significant cost. Number 8. Insufficient water intake. Perhaps you believe that by drinking less water during the day, you'll reduce the need to get up at night. However, this is one of the worst mistakes a man can make when it comes to prostate health. When your body is dehydrated, your urine becomes more concentrated and acidic, which irritates the bladder and prostate, causing inflammation, a burning sensation, and worsening urinary symptoms. What's more, the prostate is located directly beneath the bladder, so if your bladder suffers, your prostate will too. Furthermore, if you consume little water throughout the day, your body accumulates toxins, overloading the entire urinary system. The result is increased inflammation, greater urine retention, more pressure on the prostate, and over time, a higher risk of hyperplasia. Another crucial point: many men over 60 take medications that promote fluid loss, such as diuretics or blood pressure medications. This further exacerbates dehydration, and a man might not even notice it's happening. The rule is simple: sip water consistently throughout the day, even if you don't feel thirsty. Ideally, your urine should be clear or very light yellow, and if it's dark or has a strong odor, that's a warning sign. Don't be afraid of water. It's your natural medicine, your cheapest anti-inflammatory, and one of your prostate's greatest allies. Number 7. Avoiding doctor's visits. This is a silent and dangerous habit. Many men only seek medical attention when a problem has become unbearable. However, when it comes to your prostate, waiting too long can come at a high cost. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, or enlargement of the gland, often begins without pain, without alarm, and without obvious signs, which is precisely why regular checkups are crucial. Simple examinations, like a digital rectal exam, DRE, and a PSA blood test, can detect changes at an early stage. If caught in time, symptoms can often be managed through lifestyle changes alone, without medication or surgery. The problem is that many men feel embarrassed or resistant. They believe discussing urination, the prostate, or a rectal exam is unnecessary. But medicine isn't based on pride. It's founded on prevention. I've seen countless patients who came in too late with infections, urinary retention, and even late-stage tumors, situations that could often have been avoided with a simple annual doctor's visit. If you're over 60, schedule a routine checkup, even if you feel perfectly well. Prevention is always the smartest path and often the only way to maintain your autonomy, comfort, and quality of life. Don't wait until your body screams. Listen to it while it's still whispering. Number 6. Excessive belly fat. Few men realize the impact a large abdomen has on the prostate. But I must tell you directly, belly fat isn't just an aesthetic concern. It's one of the primary risk factors for prostate enlargement after 60. The fat accumulated around your waist, known as visceral fat, isn't just sitting there idly. It's metabolically active, meaning it produces inflammatory substances that spread throughout your body, including to the prostate area. These substances increase the risk of hyperplasia, create pressure on internal organs, and directly influence hormone levels like testosterone and estrogen, the two hormones that regulate prostate size. One study, published in the Journal of Obesity and Metabolic Syndrome, demonstrated that men with a waist circumference greater than 102 centimeters have a significantly higher risk of developing moderate to severe urinary symptoms associated with benign prostatic hyperplasia. In simple terms, the larger your belly, the higher the risk. And that's not all. Excess abdominal weight physically presses down on your bladder, pelvic muscles, and the prostate itself, which increases the frequency of urination and makes complete emptying difficult. The solution doesn't have to be radical. You don't need to lose 20 kilos overnight. Simply reducing sugar intake, controlling portion sizes, and taking light daily walks can already yield results. Losing even 3 or 4 kilograms of visceral fat can significantly ease urinary symptoms and boost your overall vitality. Your belly isn't just about appearance. It's a silent signal that your body and your prostate are calling for help. Number 5. Holding your urine. This might seem harmless, but regularly delaying urination is one of the most dangerous habits for your prostate. Unfortunately, many men do this every day due to rushing, laziness, or simply being away from home. But you must understand, your bladder and prostate work in tandem. When you hold urine for too long, the bladder stretches, internal pressure increases, and this pressure directly impacts the prostate, which is located just beneath it. Over time, this habit leads to irritation, inflammation, and weakening of the pelvic muscles, making complete bladder emptying difficult. The result is residual urine, infections, a sensation of a full bladder, and further stimulation of prostate growth. And there's more. As men age, the musculature controlling urination naturally weakens, and holding urine longer than necessary only exacerbates this loss of control. Research published in the International Urology Journal has shown that habitual urine retention is linked to increased inflammation and worsening prostatic symptoms in men over 60. Therefore, never ignore your body's signals. When the urge arises, go to the toilet. Even if you're busy, away from home, or in the middle of something important, this simple action can spare you months or even years of urinary distress. Holding urine might seem like a minor inconvenience, but in reality, it's like putting daily, relentless pressure on your prostate, and it will inevitably react. Number 4. Overly spicy and ultra-processed foods. Your diet is one of the most powerful keys to prostate health. Unfortunately, many men unknowingly accelerate prostate growth daily through what they eat. Overly spicy foods and those rich in preservatives trigger silent inflammation throughout the body, and the prostate, being a gland extremely sensitive to inflammation, feels this impact directly. Hot sauces, excessive black pepper, processed meats like sausages, chips, and fast food all stimulate inflammatory reactions, disrupt hormonal balance, and contribute to benign prostatic hyperplasia. But there's more. These products also often contain high levels of sodium, artificial colorings, and unhealthy fats, which increase internal pressure within the urinary system, impair circulation, and lead to increased fluid retention. Recent studies, such as those published in the journal Nutrients, confirm that inflammatory diets are linked to increased prostate volume and more pronounced urinary symptoms in men over 60. In other words, food that seems harmless can actually fuel urinary discomfort, sleeplessness, pelvic pain, and even increase the risk of future complications. The good news is that recovery begins with your plate. Prioritize natural anti-inflammatory and fresh foods. Vegetables, greens, fruits, olive oil, nuts, fish, and whole grains. These help reduce swelling, balance hormones, and protect your prostate in the long term. Remember, at first, the prostate doesn't scream in pain. It whispers through symptoms, and the right foods can silence that whisper. Number 3. Smoking or frequent exposure to smokers. If you still smoke or are often around those who do, I need to warn you directly. Tobacco is one of your prostate's most insidious enemies. Chemicals in cigarettes, such as nicotine and free radicals, directly damage prostate tissues, reduce blood circulation, and cause chronic inflammation. Over time, this not only contributes to prostate enlargement, but also increases the risk of prostate cancer and erectile dysfunction. Even if you don't smoke but are constantly in smoky environments, the risk remains, as numerous studies have linked passive smoking to cellular damage and increased prostate volume in older men. One study, published in the American Journal of Epidemiology, observed over 5,000 men for 7 years. It concluded that smokers had a 40% higher probability of developing moderate to severe urinary symptoms, as well as faster progression of hyperplasia. Smoking also reduces the production of natural antioxidants, essential for protecting prostate tissues from oxidative stress. And worse yet, it disrupts sex hormone balance, accelerating inflammatory processes. But there is good news. The body begins to recover almost immediately after quitting smoking. Within a few weeks, circulation improves, inflammation decreases, and symptoms start to recede. If you smoke, talk to your doctor. Therapies, natural alternatives, and even breathing techniques can help. If you've already quit, avoid places with cigarette smoke whenever possible, because your prostate needs oxygen, not toxins. Number 2. Uncontrolled chronic stress is, without a doubt, the most overlooked and most destructive habit for prostate health. Unfortunately, it's also the most common among men over 60. Stress isn't just a feeling of mental fatigue or anxiety. It's a destructive physiological process that triggers an inflammatory chain reaction in the body. Silent, constant, and extremely dangerous for the prostate. When you live in a state of constant tension, anxiety, fear, or anger, your body produces cortisol, the main stress hormone. Excess cortisol causes tissue inflammation, disrupts sex hormone balance, tenses pelvic muscles, and alters the function of the urinary system. The result? More urges to urinate at night, more difficulty emptying your bladder, more pain, more urgency, more inflammation, and an increasingly enlarged prostate. Studies, such as those published in Psychoneuroendocrinology, show that chronic psychological stress is directly linked to increased prostate volume and worsening urinary symptoms, especially in men over 60. What's even worse, stress weakens the immune system, raises blood pressure, disrupts sleep, and impairs erections. It's a real ticking time bomb that many carry silently within themselves. But there is good news. Managing stress doesn't require miracles. Walking daily, deep breathing for 5 minutes, listening to good music, getting better sleep, talking to someone, even laughing more, these already lower blood cortisol levels. You don't need to become a monk, but you do need to understand that if you don't care for your mind, your body won't respond. The prostate, in particular, suffers in silence when stress takes over. If you want to preserve the health of your genitourinary system, your strength, calm, and dignity, start by addressing something many don't see, yet silently destroys from within: excessive caffeine consumption. I understand coffee is a part of many men's daily lives, almost a sacred ritual. But when the quantity exceeds the permissible norm, it stops being a source of pleasure and turns into a hidden enemy of your prostate. Caffeine is a natural diuretic, meaning it stimulates the body to produce more urine. This overloads the bladder, causing urgent urges and forcing your urinary system to work overtime. If you already have a sensitive or enlarged prostate, this extra stimulation can further worsen your symptoms. Moreover, caffeine causes muscles around the bladder to contract, making it difficult to fully empty. This leads to residual urine accumulation, resulting in more pressure on the prostate, increased inflammation, and more nighttime urges to urinate. One study, published in the Journal of Urology, showed that excessive caffeine intake is linked to moderate and severe urinary symptoms, especially in men over 60. The recommendation is simple. 1 cup of coffee in the morning usually doesn't cause problems. The danger lies in excess, 3 to 5 cups throughout the day. Try partially replacing coffee with mild teas, natural infusions, or decaffeinated coffee, and observe how your body reacts. In many cases, symptoms improve within just a few days. Remember, it's not about giving up pleasures, but about choosing what's beneficial for you in the long run. Your prostate will be grateful for every conscious decision. Now that you've learned about these habits that silently undermine prostate health, the question is, what are you going to do starting today? Most men only become aware of the problem when they're already suffering from pain, insomnia, urinary retention, or even facing scheduled surgery. But you now have something many don't: reliable, accessible, and practical information. You don't need to change everything at once. Choose one habit you can start with today, whether it's getting up more often throughout the day, drinking more water, reducing your coffee intake, or finally scheduling that doctor's appointment. Real change begins with small, consistent steps. And most importantly, please share this video with other men in your family, with friends and neighbors. You could save someone close to you from unnecessary suffering or even a serious diagnosis. Prostate health starts at home, with daily choices, and with men who have the courage to take care of themselves before it's too late.